Girl, 2018. I found Girl, 2018. Found out about this film from a new friend on Threads who posted about seeing it recently. And I knew nothing except that it's about a trans teenager who wants to become a ballerina. Her name's Lara. She has a young brother, and she also lives with her father, who cares a lot about her, I gather from this film. Uh, Lara, the trans girl, is played by an amazing dancer and actor, Victor Polster, who isn't trans, but wow, what an amazing job. Um, I'm so in awe of actors often. So, getting into a role of someone completely different with completely different life to yourself, I think that's so amazing. And I'm just so impressed by this. Um, so, the director is Lucas Dont. I've not heard of him before. Belgium director. Might actually be his first film. Um, Actually, when I first tried to find, when I was visiting a friend and we looked for this film and typing in "girl" into streaming um, search engines, didn't find anything. It found a lot of other films with "girl" in the title, but it did appear under Curzon and with the director's name in it. So Laura's a dancer, and she's struggling from early on because she's got weak bones. The teacher is saying that she needs to practice a lot more, so much work, otherwise there's absolutely no hope. So it's taken a great strain on her, and she's having difficulty with eating and sleeping, and there's an awful lot of psychological pressure on her. And that is the whole thing about being trans, whatever age, but especially in in your teenage years. And just about every older trans person wishes they had transitioned by puberty, because puberty has such a huge impact on one's anatomy, and it makes irreversible changes. And that's why puberty blockers are so important, and why it's so cruel that they've been stopped in the UK and in many US states and other parts of the world. So the fact that she's on some medication, she's 15 at the start of this film, going on 16, and 16 seems to be the age where more changes are allowed. She's celebrating her 16th birthday and then seems to be, I think, on hormones, on HRT medication. So it's a lot better, as it is in many European countries, than in the UK. The UK at present is falling down the ILGA ratings. It's becoming very much an unfriendly place for LGBTQIA plus people as a whole. So it's still difficult, even in Europe, even with trans friendly policies in the EU 27 countries. That is, not all of the EU 27 are LGBT friendly, but I get the impression that Belgium, like France, like Germany, has more progressive policies than the UK. And early on, though, the teacher asks Lara to shut her eyes while she asks all the actually, it might have been a male teacher. Can't remember that bit, but the teacher asks everyone in the class, um, are will the girls put their hands up if they're uncomfortable about Lara using their changing space? And you can see one of the girls smirking as she looks towards Lara. And that's the thing. Um, there's that humiliation, even being isolated right from the start, just being different. You don't want to be different. You just want to be the same. It's by an accident of birth that you are different. Um, the raising the hand, I don't think the answer is conclusive, or maybe everyone was accepting, but um, they allow her. The other girls are happy for her to use the facilities. There are quite a few scenes where she's by herself in her own um, washing area, often drinking the water out of the tap, which I think is unusual. I mean, I'd have carried a bottle of water because I don't think you're meant to drink out of taps, but that's that's a tangent. Um, the peer pressure, though, from the other girls, like asking her, "Why aren't you showering? Don't you sweat?" "Yeah, we all sweat. We need to shower." So there's all this sort of, and knowing what teenagers are like, they get a lot more brutal than that often. So she does go in the corner of the communal showering area to shower, and looks really dejected and isolated. And that's the thing being trans. Um, Before or after transition, it's an awfully isolating experience. Um, People, the cis population are often, and some will be accepting, but often they're not that great because they're very much in the majority. Later on, some of the girls are like saying, "Show us your parts of anatomy. You've seen all of us in the showers. Um, you know, show us yourself, your private parts." So much humiliation. It is really incredibly isolating, humiliating. It's awful. And it's easy as an adult to avoid doing activities. Unlike school, I mean, it's not totally easy because we all want to do activities. No one wants to be isolated from public life. But in school, you don't really get a choice. You might be able to try and find a sport that no one else wants to do, and if you're allowed to do that, great. Long distance running. Um, but if you're in school and you're doing ballet same as everyone else, or doing any sport, um, you want to fit in, and um, it's not being it's other students not necessarily going to make your life easy. They're not going to be accommodating always. Kids tend to be quite brutally honest, but also very cruel and going beyond honesty. It's well, what's in their head. Um, and so the pressure, there's two levels of pressure. Laura will want to like every trans person, she wants to every trans person who suffers from dysphoria, who wants to go for complete transition, medical transition as well. Not all trans people do, but those who do, she wants to get it done as quickly as possible. Um, and um, she's getting some pressure from her father who doesn't want her to bind so tightly. I mean, she's tucking, she's using um, cloth very tightly around her anatomy to hide it as possible because, I mean, she's as a ballet dancer, she has to look like the other girls. She doesn't want to look differently from everyone else. Um, so there's that yearning for change. Um, the whole thing as an adult before transition. Um, I mean, actually now, given all the rulings, there's that pressure now. Some people would feel they need to stay at home. Um, remember what lockdown was like? Imagine that being permanent, where you didn't feel like you could go out. Some people can't go out because of mobility impairment, other disabilities, or financial constraints. But this is yet another example where there's pressure to reduce your presence in public life. Now, her 6-year-old brother dead names her at one point. The dead name happens to be Victor, and you see great acting again. The pressure, don't ever use that name for me. You can see her thinking about it before she says it, because to some extent she's thinking about it, wondering, should I make a fuss about this? Is this too much? Is this not unreasonable? Unreasonable. But of course it is unreasonable. She doesn't want her old name ever to be used. Um, so she's dealing with injuries, she's dealing with bloody feet, all this tucking and binding that her dad says is unhealthy and he doesn't want her to do. And he bursts into the room one day and finds her doing that. And she wants the privacy, she wants the quiet of ordinary teenage girl life. And she has more clashes with her dad. But then towards the end, it becomes even clearer. I mean, I could see the dilemma he was in, very much could empathize with both him and with Lara, but something very dramatic happens towards the end, and Lara calls the emergency service. I'll just say that the emergency services, something pretty serious is going to happen. Um, it was a good call to actually ring up the emergency services first, give the address, but don't do it, anyone. Don't do this at home. Don't do anything. Don't. Oh my gosh. So there's really awful, um, amazing drama. It's an amazing drama, but there's some awful stuff that happens that I felt it's like, oh, can I watch the next scene? I mean, it's very carefully done. You don't get to see a lot of the details of the scenes. It's down to your imagination, but it's still uncomfortable. You think, oh, the poor love. Wow, Laura, and any teenage trans kid in this situation, my heart goes out to them. And my heart goes out to any parent who has a trans child and who loves them and who's doing everything to support them. I mean, that's what really counts. That's why this is such a great film. Was deliberating on a score of 9, but I'm going to score it 9.25 because it gets the message across so clearly. It's done amazing acting and a wonderful script by Luther Stont and great filmmaking. Absolutely delightful. So that's my thoughts. I'd love to know what you think. Please leave comments. If you like this review, please like. Please, thanks if you subscribe. Please consider subscribing and let me know about this stream review. I'm going to do some edited reviews as well again soon, but I'm experimenting, seeing if this works. Hopefully it does. And so, yes, look, I've got so many films that I think this stream reviewing is a fairly good way of catching up and making sure I don't miss so many films, even though I don't get the chance to put the clips, show screen caps from the actual trailers or anything. So yeah, thanks. Any feedback welcome, and hit that notification button. I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.